Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining Dan and I on our Votacall One webinar series. Hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm Kyle. I'm a project manager with Votacall. I onboard brand new customers. I see some familiar names and new names here, so thank you everybody for joining us. And as always, with us is Dan.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dan, director of our sales engineering team and longtime Votacall employee, as you can tell by the beard. So thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. Actually, we really appreciate it. Votacall in general appreciates it. You know, if we're not talking to our customers, then we're not, doing our job very well. So it's great to have you guys here. We appreciate you responding to the emails, and we look forward to seeing you not just on this one today, but on future events as well. So.
All right, so a few housekeeping items. In the bottom right corner of your screen, you have a questions tab. If you have any questions, feel free to fire them away. Only Dan and I can see your questions. Right next to the questions tab is a polls tab. We encourage everybody to hop in there and let us know what you want to learn more about, and we'll cover it in a future webinar. We also like to remind folks that these aren't so much as trainings, but more or less showing you the capabilities of Votacall One. So if you see anything that piques your interest, you want to have more in-depth conversation, you want to schedule a time to have a training, all that's included. It's free. Feel free to send an email to support@votacall.com and we'll schedule a time with you. I unfortunately am feeling a little under the weather today, so I'm going to let Dan run this one. I'm going to sit back, smile, and keep an eye out for your questions.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, Kyle. Glad to help here in your time of weakness.
Thank you, buddy.
I hope you feel better. But so everybody, so what are we here to talk about today? And by the way, please do fire off questions. And just to follow up on what Kyle was saying, if there's something that you don't see on the list, we make the polls thinking, what do customers really want to talk about? And so if there's something that you don't see, it'd be great if you just throw it in the questions tab, and, we'd be happy to run a training or essentially a webinar. Although even though we say these aren't trainings, run a webinar on these things just to introduce you to some of the things that we can do. And as Kyle said, if there's anything that you need, just reach out to support. We are 24/7, 365, and it is included with your contract. So with that being said, not one of the things that people really ask us a lot about, but something that we're pretty excited about and something that we're constantly working on. And so today we're doing music on hold. And so, I'm glad that you guys are here, because music on hold is a lot more things, I think, than just, okay, I put someone on hold and, Frank Sinatra plays. It can be a lot more. It can be a tool. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about not just your general stuff, but we're going to talk about how do you use it? Like what else can you use it for? So as we go through this, so what are we learning today? Well, we're going to go through music on hold overview. We'll obviously review the feature itself, talk a little bit about tips and tricks as we go through this, little things that you can do. We have some demo stuff set up for you guys so that you can get a feel for some of the other things that we can do. And then we'll also go through some resources and some training materials. And then lo and behold, one of the things that I'm really excited about today, and yes, folks, I do get excited about telecom. People always ask me why, and I say, because it feeds my children. But I've just been doing it for so long, and it is pretty exciting. But one of the things we're going to do today is do a sneak peek of the Votacall One Music on Hold library. That is coming out on the 1st. Okay, so 3 days from now, and this is like your little sneak peek. For anybody who didn't make it, well, shame on them. You guys know more than they know now. And we're pretty excited to show this to you guys. It's important to us because it's something, clients often ask. And one of the big requests we get in support is, I don't like the music on hold. What can we do? Well, we were always proud of the fact that you can just upload something, and that'll bring us sort of, I'm going to jump around slides. That'll bring us kind of to this slide here. So this is what you used to have to do if you wanted music on hold. If you went back in the 90s and early 2000s, maybe you had an iPod plugged in, and essentially you were breaking all kinds of FCC laws, and you were broadcasting music that maybe you didn't have the rights to. Prior to that, you could hire a company to do it, and if you remember this little messaging on hold, and if you go even further back to the old Avaya and Partner days, and some of the old phone systems, this was actually a little tape deck right in here, and you could have somebody make you a custom version of the music on hold, and it would upload once into a little chip inside this machine, and then it would play. Anyway, like I said, I'm dating myself. The beard already does it for me, so I'm not ashamed. But you've got, so we're going to talk today about creating music on hold, default music on hold, creating custom music on hold. And again, that's some of the stuff that's pretty exciting and the Votacall One solution. Enabling and disabling music on hold, how to play music on hold, where to apply it, and then how to use it for introductions, greeting, comfort messages, essentially. So, again, this was then, and then you move to this next slide, and this is now. So up inside the Votacall One portal, the My Votacall portal, you've got access to your music on hold if you're an office manager, which is the highest level, or you can also run messages for queues if you're a call center supervisor, etc. But you can add some music and you can add some messaging. Now, this is a feature that we released last year. Again, was being able to add these messages in, and it's something that again, we're pretty excited about. So what are the types of music on hold? Well, you've got personal, and yes, personal, right? So per individual, and you can do music on hold. You can do company-wide, which is what's set for you guys by default, coming right out of the box. It's just a company-wide music on hold, which is put someone on hold and they hear music, and they hear whatever our default music, which we did have somebody recently make some pretty interesting comments about. So, that's why we're pretty excited to be able to roll out the music on hold library today. Yeah, and then you can do it also based on queues or hunt groups. So groups of people that calls come into, etc. That can be based on that as well. So let's go ahead and just come through here. Oh, it looks like we actually have our first question. I'll actually jump in. Why would I use personal music on hold? Well, it's a great question. I think I asked myself that a whole bunch of times, but we have some great examples out there, like a real estate team within a real estate office. Okay, maybe they have actually we have this specific example, but there's a few people who work on a floor in the real estate office. They're part of the overall team, but really they run their own individual team. So each individual has custom music on hold on just their users. So when they put someone on hold, they actually hear about the team itself, and what they have going on, rather than the whole real estate company as a whole. Okay, so that would be an instance where you would use something like that. There are some other examples as well. Multiple people under the same roof. Like sometimes you have 3 or 4 attorneys that are in the same office, right? But they're actually not one attorney's office. They just kind of share a phone system. Well, each person could have their own individual music on hold. So if they left somebody on there, maybe one of them likes classical music and one of them's a little bit more rock starish. Who knows? It depends on what you're looking for. So, excuse me. I'm going to actually pause because I actually need to do a bigger cough than that, and nobody wants to hear that. All right. So who uses music on hold? Well, in my opinion, everybody, but there are some verticals that it does translate to pretty well. So service industries, seasonal businesses, like an HVAC shop or a pool supply company, where or a client that we're bringing on right now is an amusement park, very seasonal, right? So that's another good thing that you can use it for. Support inbound and call centers, and really all high traffic businesses. So whether it's a pizza shop down the street or something like that, where they're getting a lot of calls. A lot of times you're calling somebody, you're saying, hey, can you please hold? You put that person on hold immediately. Well, this is something I want you guys all to think about here. What else do you do, right? So if I'm a pizza shop, well, if I can tell somebody what my special is for the day immediately, the second that I answer and ask them to hold, that's great. Or maybe even if they take the phone system a little further, because we don't like it when they ask people to hold, but maybe if they drop them into a queue, they can play a message that tells them what today's specials are. So if somebody was calling in for the specials, they're going to hear that information. and we'll get into some of our examples a little bit later, and I'll go over some other areas. But it's really marketing to a captive audience is what I want you guys to think of Music on Hold about. All right. So you have somebody on the phone who wants to do business with your company. What information can you give them that they might need? Again, I go back to the HVAC company or someone like that who maybe you're calling in to get your air conditioner fixed and you're on the line and you're waiting to get an appointment because it's summer and your AC broke. Not a bad time for you as an HVAC company to say, and while you're on the phone with us, don't forget to book your winter appointment to have your heating system reviewed, right? Something that maybe they're not thinking about right now because they're under stress because it's hot in the house, but not a bad time to go ahead and get that in their head. And they say, you know what? And I heard on your messaging, maybe it's a good time for me to set my appointment for, October to have you come out and look over the heating system before the winter starts, so they don't end up in the same situation again. Okay. So let's go ahead and just move to the next slide. So how do I get started? Well, I'm going to turn off my camera here in just a minute, but you get started with everything you can do in the Votacall One solution. You get started at the My Votacall portal, which is available at myvotacall.com. Now, some of you may see a slightly different view as we go through this tutorial here. And if you are seeing a different view, it's probably because of your role within the company. So if that is something that you feel as though you should have access to a feature, you'd need to reach out to our support team, again, 24/7, 365 support, or just drop a little note in the chat here and we'll reach out to you afterwards. We would just need to check with your current admin that we can make you an admin, and then we'd be able to make some changes for you. But again, you could do that by emailing support@votacall.com. Okay, so we're going to do a little tutorial here, take a look at some music on hold, maybe add a couple things, create some music on hold. We're going to take a look at the new Votacall One MOH library, again, which we're pretty excited about. And I think nobody more. I know some of our support team are on here right now, so I don't think anybody is more excited than our support team about this. I actually showed it to our support manager the other day, and he said, "Can I use this now?" So that's exciting for us too, because again, if you've been on one of these before, you hear us talk about internal and external customers. A lot of you folks on here are our external customers, but we do have some of our support team here, and we think of those as our internal customers. So again, making those folks happy as well. Music on hold features, and then again, some tips and tricks as we go through this. So before we get to customer success stories, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. So just give me one sec. I'll go ahead and share this. Okay, and again, I'm going to turn off my camera, but you'll still be able to hear me just to keep this moving along here, make sure that we don't run into any snags. I'm hoping you guys can all see the screen here and that it changed for you. If I can get, I think we have the emojis enabled down there, so you guys might see a little thumbs up section there if you want to give me one of those, or maybe this is really exciting for you guys. You want to give me some love at this point, that would be nice too. Everybody needs love. Is there a hug emoji? All right. Anyway, so this is the My Votacall portal. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to log in. Now, if we've given you credentials, you'll use those up here. You can also log in with Google. You can log in with Apple. You can log in with Office 365. If those things aren't enabled for you, again, and they are something that you want, reach out to support@votacall.com. Drop a little line in the chat there, and we'll get going. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and keep this moving. So I'm going to just log in as me. Now I'm going to see a bunch of different accounts here, but the one that I'm going to use today is the webinar user. And that's because I have a lot of accounts associated with my email address. That's why I'm seeing that. So I'll go ahead and just log in here as our webinar user. And so here I am. Now there's a few different places where you can access music on hold. Okay. And so there's obviously a music on hold tab right over here. Now, if you were trying to do music on hold for a call queue or something like that, you could come over here. So there's, again, different places to access it. You could also go to a user, and we talked about that a little bit, and adjust the user's music on hold. Now, when you click on the music on hold tab, you're going to see a few different things here. So you're going to see domain level, and think of the domain as is your company, right? So that is kind of all of the music that's associated with the company. That's going to be the default music on hold. Then as you go through this, some of these are going to be call queues, and we can see that here. And then we've also got, it looks like Aramis has got, some stuff set up for him. I know everybody, well, I hope all of you on here have had a chance to work with Aramis at some point, because, he probably resolved your problem with a big smile on his face. And so hello, Aramis, if you're out there, or if you find yourself watching this at some point. Now, I'm hiding users without music on hold right now. If I uncheck that box, it's going to show me a lot more folks. All right, but I'm just going to go ahead and pull it back down. And I can also sort this by a type, right? So I can say user, site, or queue. So good to know that, right? I can set it up for a different site. Now, a site could also be within your business. So 2 companies under one roof. Okay, maybe they, so you're going to want to have maybe they share a receptionist. Well, the receptionist could have default music on hold, and then you could have custom music on hold for the employees of the different companies. So just different ways to think about how you distribute this, 2 different people, and where making it so that you can have the user come into play makes sense. Okay. Now you can also do by queue or group, right? So you've got that availability here. We're going to take a look at, as you go down, you can see how many pieces of music are uploaded and how many messages, etc. But we're going to see this one here has got 4 pieces of music and it's got 5 messages. So this is a great one to take a peek at. And we'll go ahead and we'll just click here. Okay, so on the left-hand side, as you take a look at this, you can see this is your music. And if you wanted to hear what each one of these sounds like, you could click right here and hit play. You can also see how long the duration of them is. You could download these if you wanted to save them for something. Maybe you're concerned you're going to change all the music for the season and you wanted to go ahead and, preserve all your old messaging. You can go ahead and just download all of that here. You can also hit edit and upload something, or delete a file if you're unhappy with one. But if I hit here and I hit play, you're going to see, you guys don't hear that, but it's actually playing. Did you hear that, Kyle? Oh, interesting. Okay,
yep,
cool.
Definitely heard that.
That's pretty cool. I don't know if you heard it through the microphone or whether our webinar platform actually plays what's coming through the computer. That is a good thing to know. We'll have to test that a little bit later. You can also reorder these, right? So you could come up here and you could say, okay, I want MOH1 to be the new one, and then I could hit save. Okay, and it's going to go ahead and just reorder those. Now, one of the questions that people used to ask us is, and this was always a problem, you had music on hold in a row. Well, every time you put somebody on hold, it would always play the first piece of music on hold. And so we do have the randomize button up here now, which is pretty exciting, because you can kind of shuffle through these songs. And hopefully if somebody gets put on hold multiple times, we used to have an accounting firm, and they used to have a Frank Sinatra tune that played immediately. And it kind of started with this big horn section as it went through. And every time they put someone on hold, you'd hear the exact same thing, like right away. And so they really wanted to randomize the music on hold, and that wasn't an option at the time. So it's great to be able to have that now. Now, if I wanted to add some music, I could click here and it will pull up, it'll ask me to browse. And then we did have a question come in just a second ago, just about, and I hadn't gotten to it yet because I knew we were going to get to this, but are there laws about music on hold? And yes, right? So there are. So Peter, the answer to that is yes. In accordance with copyright laws, a license may be required from ASCAP composers, performing rights, TV, blah, 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 blah. So if you are to upload something and hit upload, you are agreeing that that this is something that you have the rights to add. Okay. Now, let's move over here to the right. And then we'll get to, again, the part I'm pretty excited about today, which is your sneak peek into the Votacall MOH library, where you can download music and then that you'll have it on your computer and you can upload it right back up again. Or again, we can do it for you. So, okay, so you've got here, so we've got an introduction greeting on this queue. Now, an introduction greeting is going to only play first. So it only plays on the very first time that they enter in. And it's going to be a message, thank you for calling. Your call's important to us. Stay on the line. Or it could be, please note that calls may be recorded for quality and training purposes. Anything like that can be introduced here. And if I wanted to, then the next thing that happens is that it's then going to go to music. Okay, so that we have this set up right now for 15 seconds between messages. So during that downtime between messages on the right, it's going to play the music on the left. Okay, and so now that can be adjusted. so I can go all the way up to 2 minutes or all the way back down to 15 seconds. Okay. And then you can make your message, play. Okay. So here I'm going to go 2 minutes, and then I'm going to announce a wait position. Okay. So now I could change the wait position if I wanted to, and I could have that announced the time. But and I'll show you that in ad messaging in a minute. Now we've also got, this is text to speech. So this is one of the things that we have. Now you could record yourself saying whatever it is. Maybe you've got somebody in the office who has a smashing voice. We do run into that occasionally. Maybe you love the sound of your project manager's voice and you want to ask them to do it for you. Haha. Putting some work on you, Kyle. I know you don't feel good, but so maybe not today. But so what we can do is you can use text to speech and choose the voice. Now you have that same text to speech availability in your voicemail. You have it for your auto attendants. So we've put it right in here in the music on hold as well. And then you can see here that I'm announcing wait position again. So the way that this would go is call would come in, introductory greeting, music. 15 seconds later, wait position, back to music again. 15 seconds later, your call is important to us. Don't forget to ask about how to get a Votacall hat. So if you've been eyeing Kyle and I's hats during this meeting, during this webinar, and you think that you'd like one of those, well, just ask us how we get one in the chat, and we'll tell you. It's kind of fun. All right, let's just keep going. So we're going to announce the wait position again, and then we're going to play a message that says, thank you for holding. Now, if I wanted to add another message, I could click here. If I wanted to repeat this message, I could just click copy, right? And then it's going to put it right in, but I'm going to go ahead and delete this. And then I'm going to go ahead and click add message so I can put in wait status updates. Looks like someone might be looking for a hat. Let's go. Okay, so text to speech, or I can upload something, or I can hit record. So I can hit record and I can tell it to call me at my extension, and then I can say whatever it is I want to say. So again, if you want that personal touch, you can do it that way. If you want to type it in and then choose the voice from one of our voices, you can do that as well. All right, we're up to 2. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and again, I can also move these around. Okay, so again, I'm thinking of the pizza shop again. Call in, introductory greeting. Someone will be with you in just a moment to take your order. Please stay on the line. Music, 15 seconds later. Hey, today's specials are, and we just rattle off, that we have our famous chicken parm is available today. Let us know if you want that with Parmesan or American, or maybe even both. Right? So you're just getting people thinking about things that you do. Maybe somebody's calling into a restaurant. You have a function room and you just want to remind them because it's May and it's graduation season. And you want to remind them, hey, don't forget we have a function hall too. And we do catering, when these kind of things happen, right? So you've got a restaurant that does a great catering business, and maybe they cater Thanksgiving dinner. There's a lot of people these days who don't cook anymore, and they kind of have everything delivered. So maybe their parents are coming into town, they need Thanksgiving dinner, and you cater. So maybe a good idea, advertise. Again, hopefully this is getting you guys thinking just about the different things that you can do. Okay. Now, if you wanted no messages, you just delete all these and it's your music on the left, right? It's that easy. Okay. So let's talk about the thing that I'm really excited about before we go through just a couple case studies. And let's just go ahead and let me just see. Oh, Nancy loves the sweatshirts. That's sneaky, Nancy. That's sneaky. So we make you tell a telecom joke for a hat. So we'll have to come up with something for a sweatshirt. Maybe we'll talk about our customer love program, Nancy, and see how much you like the sweatshirts. Let's go ahead. I kid. All right. So let's go ahead. So if you come up here, if you're logged in, and so if you come up here, again, we told you we were going to show you a sneak peek today. You won't see it yet. Again, it's not live until the 1st, but let's go ahead and just talk about it. If you come up here to apps, so this is where you can come up and you can launch your web phone, or you can launch your vision analytics boards, and you could get your user phone list. Maybe you've never seen that before. I mean, I might as well show it to you right now. And I am only showing a tab. So hang on one second. I got to change my camera. My screen. Hang on one sec, guys. I need to show the full Google window. This one, share. Okay. All right. So if you came up here and you clicked on apps, sorry about that, and you came up and you wanted to see a user phone list, maybe you guys didn't know this is here. It's right here. You click, and there you have it. So you can see all of your folks, what phones are registered. Do they have a main phone registered? Do they have a mobile phone registered, web phone? Again, this is a demo environment, so you're not going to see a lot of green here. But you could also view the basic phone list, which pulls it back. It will also tell you what their direct inward dial number is. Okay, what site they're in, etc. So you guys have access to this too. There's a little tip and trick for you guys that maybe you didn't know about before. So I'm going to go back up to apps, and here it is, the moment of truth. I didn't mean to tease you guys there, but I thought maybe you'd want to know about the phone list. But I'm going to click the Music on Hold library. So here it is, the great unveiling. So what we did is we get a lot of questions or people who want to ask about this stuff, you know, and as much as we like to do everything for our clients, if that's what they want, we do have a lot of clients who want to self-service, you know, so they want to listen to music and maybe they want to decide. So we've only ever really had 2 options that we had for folks. So we have opened that up just a little bit now. So we've got some mellow piano, we've got some upbeat pop, acoustic pop, you know, and if you can go ahead and read them. Classic MOH 1 and 2, those are going to be, you've heard them a million times before, but maybe you miss them. They were probably on those little tape deck music on hold players that I showed you guys a little while ago. So maybe you missed that. You've got some couple classical examples. Old Jack Rock, which is my band. So I'm in a band called Old Jack. You guys are free to put that on your music on hold anytime you like. And you can go listen to it just by hitting a little play button here. And so next is silence. And people say, well, why do we need silence? There's a lot of people who say, I don't want music on hold. So all you would do is at the domain level, you know, you would open that up. Now, I just had somebody ask a question about, will there be more music on hold options added to the library? You know, I don't know that where we are on that yet. I mean, I think we're probably going to add a few more Old Jack songs and, you know, try to expand it that way. If anybody here is in a band and wants to let us put your music on hold on here, we can do that for you too. So any aspiring musicians, you know, part of this is that these are royalty free. So that's important to know. And so, you know, you can come here. We may expand it on occasion. I would think that there'll be a few more here and there. But I was talking about silence. So that was a great question. Thanks for asking. We were talking about silence. You can upload that at the domain level and that will take music on hold away. Okay. So that was one of those things that people sometimes want to do. And so it's here. Now, what you do is if you want one of these, if you listen to it and you like it, you would hit download. All right. And that's going to open another window, which lets you hear it playing. And then you click the little dots here and you download this. Now, we will, there'll be a tutorial video that's going up for the first, you know, so if you go over to Votacall.com, again, little tip and trick here. Let's go to open another window. Okay, and go over to resources and go to the Votacall One training page. You'll see lots of videos. Now, we did a video in the past on creating custom messaging and music on hold. So that video is already there. We'll leave that video there. There'll be another one next to it because we'll move these around a little bit. That'll tell you, that'll show you how to access the music, the MOH library, how to listen, and then how to download it and then upload it as well. Okay, so we'll be doing that for you guys as well as we go through this. But again, so you can click here, listen, then you hit download. That's going to download. Once it's downloadable, then you can come into here and you can click add music, you know, and you can hit browse and you can go find a piece of music from your downloads folder that you just downloaded and you can upload that. Okay. All righty. Great.
Loves it. Loves it.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. We had a question come in. I'm in a hardcore punk band. Is there a place for my music in this library? You know, it's not for me to judge, you know, what kind of music you want. That may be better served just for you to upload for your company. But I mean, if you want it here, I'd be happy to throw it in there and say punk music. I would have to make sure that, you know, we're clean on the lyric side of things. And content. So not that all punks swear and are, mean. There's a lot of very, well, just not really, aggressive punk music. And I think someone's just messing with me now. I don't believe Green Day is here. Okay. I appreciate you guys having fun. We are here to have fun. I told you I was going to get excited about Music on Hold. You got me with that one. We'll get you out of hat. That was good. All right. So let's move on here and kind of go through. This covers the tutorial. I just want to show you a couple other places where you could see this. So if you were in a queue itself, so here's customer service 1. And as I move over to the right, you've got your little music icon. You hit edit music on hold, and you're going to recognize the screen we land on. Okay. Now, if I went over to user and I went into a user, I think, we'll do the webinar user, right? So, sorry, I have to know how to spell. You come into the webinar user and you were to click on here to edit them, you could actually, you have to do that at the personal level. So you'd have to masquerade as them. I apologize. So if I came in here and went to my account, I have a music on hold tab here. And again, so no music on hold has been added. For the organization itself. So if you want to add this, then you can. Okay.
Ronnie has a question.
Okay, terrific.
Where do we find pre-recorded webinars on how to create messages?
So it's not a webinar, Ronnie, but we do have it here. If you come in and it's creating custom, you know what I'll do? I will reply to you right now with the direct video. So you'll be able to click on that link, Ronnie. But you can always come into our video library, and this will walk you through creating music on hold. Okay, you may recognize the voice. Okay, so let's go ahead and I think that pulls us down to the point where we're going to go back to our slides. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here and go back. Okay, and we'll just wrap this up with you guys' questions. Again, I appreciate it. I know we've been here a little bit longer than we thought. Okay, but let's talk a little bit about some customer success stories. So, okay, have you guys all gone back to the slide deck? Kyle,
yes.
Okay, everybody can see that. Yeah. Thanks for the thumbs up, everyone. Okay, so as we go through this, we're going to go ahead here. And by the way, Ronnie, we'll reach out to you after this and just make sure that you're comfortable. And we'll set up a time. You can meet with someone in our solutions group, and they'll walk you through how to do it the first time, just to make sure that you're comfortable. Okay. Well, looks like Kyle's going to take that on. All right. So customer success stories. So Cunningham Security, security firm, takes a lot of phone calls, obviously, people calling in, alarms going off, etc. So they use call center functionality. So they have call queues. And in their call queues, they have, 3 different queues. So you've got a sales queue, you've got a technical support queue, and then you've got like an emergency queue. So when somebody calls in, they have messages that are playing, thank you for calling. Some of those queues are recorded, some aren't. So there's some messaging there for that. And then they have just custom comfort messages to guide people as they're calling in. There's times where you don't want to be pitching something to somebody, obviously, like if there's an emergency and they're calling you because there's a situation, maybe a bad time to try to upsell them, or offer another product to them. But they also show their wait times and positions. So again, very similar to what we were just looking at in the example that we showed, but something that they can change on the regular whenever they feel like it. Also adjust the music if people aren't happy with what's there. Okay. The next one again is AAA service. Now for them, this is they use simplified MOH management. Now they have a company that they contract with who does, for everybody, I'll do my welcome to movie phone voice, right? So they have a very custom message that they have recorded, and that company changes that every once in a while. Now, if you guys are looking for something like that instead of what we've shown you, then we do have some companies that we can recommend to you that make those kind of recordings. Again, super. But that's a kind of thing where you're not going to get that changed a lot. There are some services that you can pay to change that monthly. You'd sign up for a contract, basically, monthly, yearly, etc. That's not us, again, third-party companies. But they're going to send you a file. So when they send you that file, it's super easy to upload. In the old days, you used to have to go get a memory card, burn it to the memory card, put the memory card back in the player, upload it. Now it's take the file that you just got sent, save it to your computer, go to music, go to where we were in the admin portal, my Votacall portal, and hit upload, and the message goes right in, right? So that's how they're able to integrate their third-party MOH. And again, it's all self-service. They don't need to pay someone to do that anymore. They don't need to maintain a player in another room somewhere. And even if the power's out and they're using their web phone or they're using their mobile phone, the MOH is still playing, right? So that's a big difference between the old players and the new players. So you got people working from other environments, people working from home, people working remotely. Because your music on hold is in the cloud, you're making sure that message gets translated. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next one. Is Lucy's Restaurant. Again, seasonal MOH and advertisements. They do advertise their specials, again, so this is something that on a daily basis, they do that because they get a lot of lunchtime business, the people calling in. They're in an environment where there is a lunchtime crowd because there's a lot of businesses around, as well as a, evening crowd. And then they do catering and function hall. So again, these are things that are important to remember. And maybe these ones don't apply to you guys directly. I think the idea here in doing a webinar on MOH is kind of getting you guys thinking about, okay, look at all the tools that we have available to us. Again, a captive audience that is there and interested. So, I think that's pretty important. All right. With that being said, I'll move over to here and we'll open up any questions. If you guys have any more, I know you've been asking them as we go through here. So, yeah. Okay. Jim, I would, we will reach out to you and get you some, we will get you guys over. Somebody just asked a funny question. Sorry.
I know, right?
So, Jim, we'll get you over. We'll reach out to you and get you over the name of some of the third-party companies that we use to do messaging, if that's something that you're interested in. Again, and we're happy to, we'll call you after this, and we can kind of go through, what this can do for you and then what you're looking for. I think the beauty of what we just showed over the customized stuff is that you can change it daily, weekly if you need to, et cetera. So, we have some doctors' offices who use the winter season, for instance, to talk about flu shots. Don't forget to get your flu shot. Well, you're not going to talk about that in April. Right. So it's a good time to do it. And we were also asked, everyone, why do we dress the same? Our COO is, a rather stern fist, and he has requested that we always dress the same. So don't let him fool you. I kid. It was him who asked us the question. So, okay. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed it, Andy. Okay. And hopefully the rest of you enjoyed it. Again, we thank you for coming. I hope you filled out the poll. If you didn't, please fill it in. We love the emojis. Thank you. Here's some resources, Votacall.com/one training. And again, Ronnie, that's how you would find that video, but there's a direct link in the answer to your question. Support.votacall.com is the website. Support@votacall.com is the email address. Again, 24/7, 365 support. If you need us to change your music on hold or you have any other kind of questions, please reach out. And then replays and rebroadcasts of our webinars We do 2 for everything, so maybe you won't see yours specifically. We kind of rate them as we go through and try to pick the best one. I think this one was pretty good, though, so maybe we have a winner. So, again, you can go to www.votacall.com/webinar and find that there. And then last but not least, it's not up here on the resources, but don't forget that you can access the MOH library now. And Kyle and I thank you very much.
Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.